been smashing out Emperor's Children like a bad boy, so much so that my arse hurts. My right, I'm like Gollum half of the time.
Oh, okay.
But I hope the audience, the Winters SEO people, like Emperor's Children, because they're going to get an excessive amount of Emperor's Children in 2025. It's going to be quite awkward by the end of the year.
Next time I'm down, we've got a few calendar dates in. Can I fight the Emperor's Children?
Right.
Start.
Yes.
And should I bring? I might bring my Iron Warriors.
Oh, we could do a chaos. That's on theme because tonight's thing we're talking about the top 5 greatest Space Marine legions, chapters. What would you call war
legions?
Well, they're not
yet? Legions anymore, are they? We're recording.
We are. Okay. So don't say shit or bugger.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do an intro and then we'll go back to that. So, hello everybody. Welcome back to the STC. We've been away for a month. It's my fault. I've been very busy working. I haven't left the factory. I'm still in I'm a factory man. I still work in the factory. We had a big old project on, and I basically just said, you know what? We can't produce the top quality STC content while I'm this busy. It's just we need all of our creative energy ready for this high value production. So I said we've got to wait.
Top quality. We can't produce low quality STC content, can we?
No, it's not possible. It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know where the quality bar is, but
the quality bar is if you're doing something better than the STC,
yes,
then you're making it up because there isn't anything.
Nice.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Listen, there's nowhere else you can get unfiltered banter. It's not banter, is it? Unfiltered discussions about electrolytes,
right?
Cheat like bread,
yes,
favorite types of bread, anything like you could tune in to a million podcasts and hear about information and a murder case. Oh, this is the latest update for the rules in 40k. But where do you hear whether butter is better than margarine?
On that bombshell, I was banging on the other day on a live stream about mini eggs. I like the mini eggs.
I love mini eggs.
Are you? If you had to mini eggs or Cadbury's cream eggs, which way would you go?
Oh my god! What you mean? You have to abandon the other one?
Yeah, one doesn't exist. Which one doesn't exist? Mini eggs or Cadbury's cream eggs?
And can I explain my position as well?
You can explain your position, but I'll tell you a story and then you explain your position.
Okay, right. I'm going to go for mini eggs.
Right. And then I was banging about on a live stream, and she heard me down the thing, and she was out that evening. She went out, friends, and came back with like 5 bags with 8 packs in. She spent like 30 quid on mini eggs.
Wow.
It's been horrible here. I mean, I'm basically laying eggs every time I go to the toilet.
But she's a good egg, that one, isn't she?
She's a good egg.
If she hears that. Now, I think individually, a cream egg is very satisfying. I love a cream egg.
Right.
I still feel like cream eggs in the 90s were better. It might just be strange memories. Might have been that I had a children's taste buds. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm sure they tasted better back then. I know there was a controversy where they changed the chocolate and they claimed to have moved it back to dairy milk again. I'm not so sure. But I think a cream egg, you eat one,
right, and
you're done, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you can't eat multiple cream eggs without starting to get real sick. Mini eggs, however, you could just keep going. Like, you just keep going.
It should come with a health warning. There is no limit.
There's no limit. They're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would have to be a mini egg man. And do you know what? I have a mini egg Easter egg from my mum out there waiting. It's got to sit there until Easter.
Behind all that crap.
Behind all the
guitars, and that's an angle.
Paints,
it looks dangerous.
Dwarves, various game systems up there. Bit of Blood Bowl up there.
Bit of Blood Bowl?
That's just a tower of Warhammer stuff.
Bit of Blood Bowl?
Oh, hang on, what's he got?
Bit of Blood Bowl?
Yeah. Wait, what's that for? Please say gnomes.
That's a tree man.
Yeah,
for
but
the Wood Elves. Because Wood Elves, strongest.
They're the best team in the game.
Add a tree. It's like it's broken.
Oh my god, why would you do that? Come on, man, that's power gaming in Blood Bowl.
It is power gaming in Blood Bowl, and quite frankly, my mate's been playing for like a decade, didn't stop. I've just sort of slid back into it. I need all the help I can get.
Okay,
Microwave
that's
the
fair.
dice. You turn the aimbot on. Wall
Yeah.
hacks. The whole thing. I'm going hard.
I am a dedicated tier 3 team player at the moment.
Right.
I play ogres.
Yes.
I've got my little ogres they've got nobblers, which are strength 1,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. And then in a box I've got gnomes and some tree men ready to go in the future if I ever want to go down that road.
Yeah.
And I think when I play against snotlings and goblins and halflings, I think that is the best game of Blood Bowl you can have because
Yeah.
it's just outrageous. These things can trip over and die like nothing else. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. But I will tell you one thing: when you play ogres, they might be like objectively the worst team in the game,
Yeah.
and they are terrible.
'Cause they can
Half your
stand
team,
still, do nothing half the time.
yeah, half the time you're going to roll ones and they do nothing. But
Yep.
when you are playing in like a little league and you don't care about winning,
Yeah.
and then you come up against the wood elf player, you got Winters over there with his wood elves, and he's all like, "Yeah, these are the fastest, the best, the cheekiest
You just need
players in the
twos.
game."
Roll twos. Easy.
Yeah, you just get an ogre, and when you knock out
Yeah.
a wood elf and you
Yeah.
kill it, you kill him with an ogre punch.
Yeah.
You've done your job in that tournament, in that league. You've taken out these really good, expensive players. You've got no viability in that. You can't pass the ball. You've got no agility. You're going to trip over everything.
Yep.
A goblin doubles out on your strength 1 nobblers
Yep.
because they're strength 2 or
Yep.
whatever they are.
Brilliant.
Love it. Love Blood
You love
Bowl.
it. I'd see you shouldn't be allowed to punch elves though, because elves are obviously awesome. They're the best faction in all game systems. Elves for the win.
Oh, really? Like the in the 41st millennium, best army, best.
Well, tonight we're talking about the greatest
Yeah.
Chaos Space Marine legions
We are
of all
So-
time, chapters, warbands, whatever they're called.
Yeah, we did.
What?
That has to be up for debate as well because
What?
are they legions? Some of them are legions, but
Yeah.
really, I think it should be war bands that were legions once.
Well, the title of the video, the top 5 greatest warbands that were legions once for Chaos, is a bit long.
Okay,
So it's going to be the top 5 greatest Chaos legions for 40k, something along those
yeah,
lines.
and then in brackets, remnants of.
Brackets,
No, okay, not in brackets. Fine, okay. So I'll just make it an audio disclaimer.
right?
I think that most of these legions are now so fractured they probably wouldn't be called legions, but they do wear their badges and stuff, and they do remember the good old days.
Yeah, sorry,
So-
my pussy's snoring. He's put me off.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and what we decide is top 5. It could be on the tabletop. It could be lore. It could be any reason why or there. It's just the greatest are the greatest.
Yeah.
Obviously. And how this works is you come up with 3, I come up with 3, and we chuck one out at the end, and I'm nearly always right.
Yeah. No. And
What?
whatever we come up with is the objective truth as well. It can't
Yes.
be argued. So don't even try and argue it. If you say, no, I don't agree, it should be number 1, it doesn't matter because the objective official word has been spoken by the end of this podcast.
And I feel like I'm playing away from home tonight because you are Warsmith Chris.
I am Warsmith Chris.
I've stepped into your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I'm playing your ball game.
Yeah. And I know I'm going to be fact checking.
Yep.
I'm going to be making notes about what you think about my beautiful legions and their boys. I'll be keeping a close eye on you.
Yep. Just one eye or both eyes?
Well, I actually have
third
one
eye.
eye that can look.
Yeah.
My eyes can look in different directions. So
I heard that both of your nipples were eyes.
yeah,
Yeah.
but we weren't supposed to mention that on the podcast. I did
Sorry.
specifically say don't talk about that.
Right.
I said don't mention that I'm a vegan. Don't mention
Okay.
that I've got nipple eyes.
Well, the hardest thing about being a vegan is not telling everyone.
Yeah, I know it's blatantly a lie, isn't it? I actually look at me. I love meat. Like, you can tell I eat like just tons of meat all
You
the time.
love the meat.
Yeah,
You
I do.
eat
I love-
all the meat.
yeah, especially sausages.
Yeah.
Before we start our top 5,
Okay.
I know you talk about this stuff on your other boring. You do some kind of live stream or something that people watch.
I talked to the community.
You talk to the community.
They seem to like it. I have no idea why.
I have no idea why either. I mean, it's quite hard going to get through this hour usually,
Yeah.
but that aside, we haven't spoken well, we have spoken. In fact, we've seen each other in person in the
Yeah.
last month, but we haven't done a podcast in the last month.
Yeah.
So the last time we were together, you were getting all excited about Emperor's Children, which you've
Yes.
mentioned at the start of this podcast. I've been out of the hobby loop. How are the Emperor's Children? What is going on with them? Are they everything we've dreamed they were going to be?
It was one of the. I remember watching YouTube videos back in the day saying Games Workshop are destroying Slaanesh. There's only going to be three gods, or he's going to get replaced by Be'lakor, or da da da. Slaanesh, Games Workshop are trimming it down. Da, da, da. But no, here we are.
Yeah.
The Emperor's Children are here, and they are one of the top 5 greatest Chaos Space Marine legions of all time. They're awesome.
Okay.
I am deep in the hobby mojo right now. I can't stop. I can't stop listening to the Audible. I can't stop painting. The Golem hand is a real thing.
Yeah.
Back pain. My ass. My bum num bum. I'm in it. This is about as deep as you get into the hobby. At the exclusion of even showering sometimes. Well, that isn't so hard, but at the exclusion of many other things. I'm in the hobby. When you got to ride the wave. When people say, like if you fall out of the wave or how your motivation goes, I think the real trick is when you've got the taste. When you just got to go in. You just got to jump on it when you've got the taste and ride that wave for as long as you can. And I'm riding, baby. I'm riding hard, excessively,
Good,
painfully.
Back in 2018, when was it the new Chaos release came out? 2018, I like to think, or 2019, when they redid the 40k Chaos the generic Chaos Space Marines.
It was around 8th edition, so yeah, you're probably on the money there.
Yeah, we got new Chaos Space Marines. We got loads of new stuff. They showed off the Obliterators. It was very exciting time for Chaos
Venom
players.
Crawlers.
Venom Crawlers came out.
New Chaos Space Marine kits. They Terminators and things. Yeah.
I remember when they showed off the Lord Discordant on whatever that thing's called he was on, and just thinking, this is a new age for Chaos. And it was a new age for Chaos. I got into one of those things that you're talking about here with Iron Warriors, where I was like, every single bit of... I mean, there's loads more now, but every single bit of narrative I could consume about them, reading the books, listening to the audibles, watching every lore video, looking at how people had painted them, just painting Iron Warriors. And I painted my first 2,000 points of Iron Warriors in quite a short space of time, just out of pure hobby wave. And I think there's nothing greater than being that immersed in a faction or something. But do they play well? Are they playing well on the tabletop for you? Are you enjoying the way they play? Emperor's Children, that is.
Yeah, I'm loving how they play. They're terrible, but I'm loving how they play.
Okay. I think Chaos has got a little bit of a problem in general.
Yes.
So I saw the upcoming releases with the corner getting a character that can run around with 8-bound, which is cool. I like that. Death Guard are getting another Death Guard man. And then that very divisive, very odd Thousand Suns thing that they brought out. But what they didn't do... Crappy robots, yeah. Weirdly painted as well. I'm guessing that it's a weird studio paint job and that they'll look great when they're... I'm hoping. When they're tried out in other schemes that isn't bone with blue and yellow. Wasn't buying it at all. But the thing we're still missing is bespoke demon engines for World Eaters.
Yep.
We're still missing some kind of bespoke demon engine vehicle, whatever, for Emperor's Children. Yep. I'm like, come on, guys, can you pull your finger out?
Sons.
Thousand Suns have got their little robot now.
They have a Mutalith Vortex Beast.
They have the Mutalith Vortex. They don't have
specific Thousand Sun vehicles either. And I think what we're getting in the new Codex releases for Chaos is the same as what we got in Emperor's Children, which is they can't be asked with making any more of these things, so they just chuck demons in there, and there's a demon detachment. And you know what? I'm not mad about it. The vehicles they'll be coming. They're doing the Grey Knights. There's lots of Space Marines. They got to get out there. They love Space Marines. Emperor's Children, more Space Marines. There will be dedicated vehicles for each of our factions going forward. But right now, they can't be asked. We're getting demons. I don't think it can't be asked thing. I think it's because they can't produce enough because, they're building that new factory and they're just selling out on all the things all the time. It's like they're the only makers of mini eggs in the entire universe, and this is where everyone goes to get their fix. And so they're chucking demons in there, which I'm not mad about.
No, it's a plug-in. It's a band-aid. Gives us options. I think it suits certain factions more than others. I think World Eaters is great. We had a little chat about this. The idea that running bloodletters and
giant bloodthirster,
giant bloodthirster
across the battlefield with Angron. Come on now.
That's
technically
sweet.
You can do it now anyway. But the thing about the Emperor's Children detach, because you can, if you're a Chaos Space Marine player, you know this. You can plug in 25% of demons to any Chaos Space Marine force. You can also add a Chaos Knight. But what they've done in the Emperor's Children thing is there's an actual detachment where you can put 1,000 points worth of demons with 1,000 points worth of Emperor's Children, or 1,500 with 1,500. And it's not a plug-in where you just rely on the data sheets. It actually meshes and they benefit. They give each other sustained hits, I think, if they're within 6 inches of each other.
That's right. And we often, in the books, we often see quite early on Emperor's Children have got like demonettes and whatnot sort of creeping around them and like hiding up in the rafters and slinking about. They were very open with demons. I don't think Death Guard really need any of the Nurgle demon range. I don't know if that brings anything to the table that isn't just slow, resilient melee units. Unless you go for like the bloat flies. That's Death Guard.
If you're playing Death Guard, that's what you want.
Yeah, but you've already got that in your beautiful Death Guard boys. But happy to see what comes out of it. And of course, Khorne get a good thing from it. Also, Thousand Suns. Do they need like the shooting that comes from horrors? I don't know.
Demons before they were cool. In the Thousand Suns book, way back before Burning of Prospero, they had those little tutelaries. They had demons floating around them even before they knew what the demons were. Yeah.
They did. But do they need them in the army is what I'm thinking.
They probably need them better than those shitty robots that come in.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at robots, you look at automata, you look at the range that Games Workshop make of automata, look at the Mechanicum stuff, and then you look at these things, and that's what the Thousand Suns players get.
I know. I don't want to hate on these things, but oh my gosh, there are plenty of really cool automata out there.
Dude.
And something's gone a bit wrong with this one.
We did a whole STC on the greatest miniatures that Games Workshop did.
Yeah.
We love the stuff when it's good, but when it's crap, we've got to call it out.
We've got to say
Inspector
it like
Gadget Go-Go on his legs for Adeptus Mechanicus. Big pile of donkey bollocks.
No, he's great.
No.
He's great for the wrong reasons, but he's great.
And then these automata robots are just...
I don't know what it is. I don't know what's happened. I feel like this is going to sound really rude, and I apologise for being this rude, but I feel like it was like the Team C were put on it. You know what I mean? Like the Apprentice guy was put on it. It just doesn't have any of the right stuff going on. And they're so static and monopose and so I don't know. It's completely missed the mark for me. But again, I'm hoping once they're painted differently from that bone scheme, which doesn't match anything else in the entire Thousand Suns range, it does look like a Forge World kind of model.
It doesn't. Forge
no, it looks like
it doesn't. They don't. Look at. I have Forge World Automata Mechanicum.
Yeah.
There is an ocean between these spindly armed. A lad's gun shot will knock them over sort of look. Between that and the chonky, scary, hey, look, that's much taller, much stronger, much bigger than me. Yeah. They put the intern on it, didn't they? Sometimes they just let the intern cook, and they shouldn't. The intern's there to make the tea. Just let them make the tea.
They could have had psychic dreadnoughts. There's so many things they could have done.
There is a psychic dreadnought in Horus Heresy.
There is.
The name of it? No.
Osiris? Is it the Osiris Dreadnought or a right?
Yes, there's a psychic dreadnought. Yeah, it costs 50 points to give him the psychic upgrade.
Yeah. But he looks cool. He's got like the Pharaoh thing going on. Yep. They're really cool.
Yep.
We could have had
put a demon up him.
Can you?
No, they get Castellax. They get their own Castellax, Thousand Suns Castellax robots, and you can put demons up them
Oh, nice.
to make them alive because they like demons. Thousand Suns and demons.
Yeah.
It's like white on rye. That's a saying, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
I don't even know what rye is.
Rye is
Isn't
a
that?
type of bread.
Is it? I
Yeah.
thought it was a river.
It's also river, yeah. But I think they're talking about a bread.
Right.
Yeah. I've got one more thing
Yes.
before because we're supposed to be doing the show, but don't worry about that for now. We'll get to it. So
I don't think anyone cares. It's fine.
No, everyone knows what I'm going to pick. Warsmith Chris. We went to a thing.
Yeah, we did.
We shared a building for a few days, and we played games and stuff. And we've been talking about it all this time about me trying to get my Iron Warriors Horus Heresy together. And apart from 2 Land Raider doors that weren't painted, I had my full force with me.
Yeah.
We played a game of Horus Heresy.
Yeah.
And I like it. I think I need to play more to understand it fully. Because it seemed like you were like, oh, okay, I'm going to shoot at you, but that means you can now shoot everything much better at me and blow all my stuff up. And I was like, okay. And I rolled with that, and you shot at me, and then I shot all my stuff at you and blew all your stuff up, and you're like, yeah, like that. And then we tried it over here, and you said, no, you're allowed to shoot at me now because I'd shot at you, and then all your stuff blew up again, and at the end of it, all your stuff got blown up.
There is a return of fire mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
works 40K's
really well.
got stratagems. 40K has got... So one of the things that has happened in wargaming is they've made the person who's not playing, who's not the active player, have some agency. In 40K, that's stratagems.
Yeah.
And in Heresy, it's reactions. And it's a good game it's good game design.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and they squeezed it in there. And that fight was good. You did well. My young Padawan.
I think I actually rolled some dice that were okay for once.
Yeah.
Instead of rolling like cursed dice. And I think that was because I used my own dice.
Nice.
But they were Winter's dice though. I don't know. I think it's those blue dice on the channel, man. I think they've got a curse.
Okay.
Or
You
you've done
just got
something.
to remember those Tyrant Siege Terminators that you have in the Iron Warriors. They want to be shooting and returning fire as much as possible.
Don't even need to shoot. Just wait for them to shoot. Bam.
Yeah. Shoot in your turn. Shoot back. Yeah.
It was great fun.
Return fire. Yeah.
Anyway, as alluded to earlier, this show is about we do top 5. We scoured the internet for the best content, and it seems like everybody about 5 years ago was making top 5 videos, and we thought, well, that was good 5 years ago. Let's frickin' do it. So now what we do is we create.
Back.
Yeah, we bring it back, and we're doing it better because just that's because I said so.
Better.
And we're online, and you have to believe no one lies when they're online.
The internet does tell the truth,
Yeah, you never lie. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to each bring 3 of the best Heretic Astartes, Legions, brackets, remnants of open bracket, close bracket.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, we're going to crown one of them the best Heretic Astartes Legion. And it doesn't matter why we think that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it can be for whatever reason we want it to be.
And you can argue about it in the comment section below, but you'll be wrong.
You're wrong, objectively.
Unless you agree with us, and then you'll be objectively right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you have made it this far,
the
STC has a tradition that we must not forget, and that is the secret code for people that actually watch it. And that's how we find out who the real ones are, because they go, whatever minute, and then, or we have a secret thing to talk about in the comments.
Yeah.
So today, I think, what should we have people mention in the comments?
1 minute. You haven't got something written down. You're actually
it's all improv, mate.
Okay.
I'm a professional. I don't need.
You're lining me up there. You threw me the ball.
I don't need cue cards
in the other room. I didn't. It's going to hit me on the head. I fall down. I don't. I'm not swinging for that one because You think of a safe word.
So we've already done horse emojis, haven't we?
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe people should just ask for help.
What?
Ask for help. So in
Help me.
whatever situation you're in, yeah, ask for help. Help! I'm trapped in an elevator. Help! It will really confuse
Right.
people that don't know what's going on. That's the point here. We're all in on a big joke together, and people that didn't watch it and are in the comments like, what's going on here? Why are these people like trapped in elevators and trapped in or lifts in the lifts? Why is this guy stuck on a horse?
Yeah.
We'll work it out together.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want you to start.
Help! I'm trapped in a bin.
I'm trapped in a bin. Can someone please help me out here?
Someone sellotape the top shut.
Yeah. And I promise
Yeah.
one day we will have the budget for a horse emoji and I'll do the horse emoji.
Right.
But we don't have the budget yet. We're saving up all the revenue, all the pennies.
Yeah.
It's quite expensive getting those horse emojis, I've got to say.
Yeah.
And we'll get there.
I think they're at this point they're probably more expensive than getting an actual horse.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
So tell me,
Yes.
what was your last pick, your third place?
Last? Well,
Yeah.
I don't do that. I just come in.
Okay.
They're not in. I don't know which one is the top.
We're going to discuss that. Just come in.
But I just like Emperor's Children. I've said it. We can edit this bit out. Emperor's Children. They are clearly one of the best Chaos Space Marine factions ever because they have their own codex. Not everyone has their own codex.
Yeah.
They're excessive. There's a lot of excess going on. They play pretty averagely on the tabletops, so much so that they need demons to help them out to bulk out the codex. They've got Lucius the Eternal in it. Come on now. He's one of the classic characters. He's still carrying the blade of the layer, which we got in book 5 of the Horus Heresy series. So that's about as old school as it gets. His model is wicked, by the way. The arm, right? You know, he's got a whip and the blade of the layer.
Yeah, the whip is his arm, isn't it?
The whip is a growth coming out of his shoulder pad from inside him, wrapping around his arm, which he's then holding on to and flicking out. It's like a giant tongue growing out of his right shoulder.
So let me
How cool is that?
focus on Lucius for a second.
Yes.
So in terms of cool points, right? He was a bladesman without peer, right? He was a master bladesman,
Yeah.
master
Never lost a fight.
swordsman. Yeah. So he loses a lot of fights.
Apart from the fights he loses, he's never lost a fight.
Yeah, he seems to lose a lot of fights, and then he's just got a cheating mechanism.
Yes.
Where he loses, and then he just comes back as them, and it's like, is that cool? Is that skill? Is that
You know
cool?
how the lore is now, right? Basically, if you kill Lucius the Eternal, like so, if you finally manage to bring down this 10,000-year-old Blade Master, there'll be a tiny little bit of pride, a tiny little bit of screw you, Lucius, I got you. So that feeling that you have for defeating Lucius means that Slaanesh has got your soul.
That's what he gets. That's
and
what he gets.
Lucius, then slowly you become the new Lucius the Eternal and evolve that way. There's actually a bit in the books in Angel Exterminatus where Sharokin kills Lucius for the first time.
Yep.
And he says, this means nothing to me. You're just another traitor. And I like that little touch.
Yeah.
Because it's got to mean nothing to you.
Yeah.
And then, But he got better. He was only mostly dead.
He
It's all
did get
Miracle
better.
Max.
I remember thinking that. I was thinking, well, he's not really a master bladesman.
He is.
Yeah. I mean, most of my favourite other characters seem to definitely would beat him in a fight, though.
No, his rules, they're epic. He's one of the...
I like
he's
him.
better than Khan. He's really
I like
cool.
him.
He's
He is
got-
better than Khan.
He's
Can
got
we
a
talk about
tongue
that?
growing out of his shoulder as a whip. What?
Why is he better than Khan? He is better than Khan. Like, his data sheet is better than Khan.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
What?
Khan is chef's kiss. Even if you're
Khan
not
does
worldly.
3 damage with his axe. That's the crazy thing about Khan. He's one of the few characters that has got a 3 damage melee weapon. He's a beef. Also, 9 attacks when he goes charging in, because World Eaters gain an extra attack and strength on the charge.
Yeah.
He's got 8 base, 9 when he charges in, Don't know how I feel about that. Maybe if he had 7 and an 8 on the charge, but then he'd only have 7 on his data sheet. The fact that but yeah, Khan is still a beast.
He's still a beast, yeah.
He's still a beast. These are both beasts, and Emperor's Children are one of the greatest Chaos Space Marine legions out there. They wear pink or purple in my case.
They do wear pink. They get up to no good.
Yeah.
They're a bit weird.
They play all the greatest songs. They know the greatest hits.
They do. They're probably good for a one-shot party, right? You don't want them to stick around, but like one night, you could have a great time with the Emperor's Children. You might not be able to sit down for a few weeks afterwards, but you'd have a good time, right?
Everyone's got that friend that it's great to go partying with, but you wouldn't you wouldn't introduce them to your sister.
No.
That friend for me is called Jeff. The Emperor's Children are a bit like that.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Hot, new, shiny models. What's not a narrative that goes all the way back. A Primarch who's got a few extra arms he doesn't need, and a lizard body.
And he nearly punked Gilliman as well, which is
punked
nice.
Gilliman. Nearly. And you've got a thing that Games Workshop probably did want to get rid of Slanesh at some point, but can't because they're just so cool and the community wants them. And here we are.
And you're keeping the torch burning bright for them.
Yes.
All we need is the second half of their release, right? And someone to start writing rules who doesn't hate chaos. And although what I like to think about chaos players, right? Chaos players are strong, but you can't just go the direct route. You have to think a little bit about what you're doing, right? But they can be very strong. You can't just, I played Iron Warriors for the first time in this edition because I've redone mine and added some new units in, put some Chosen in and stuff. Yep. And I played a game of them, and I think generic Chaos, plays really well at the moment. I love Dark Pacts. I love how that works. And I love the general boost of their core stuff. Their demon engines are decent. Their vehicles are really good now. Like I'm so tired I forget the name of my favourite vehicle. The Vindicators are actually really great fun now. They're great fun.
I mean, back in the day, they just used to have Space Marine stuff with spikes on, which is why you have 3 Vindicators. But now they have their own. They have the Venom Crawlers and Disco Lords and Morphines and Forge Fiends and Helldrakes. And they have quite... Back in the day, they didn't really have unique models. But now the entire Space Marine Codex is pretty decent. It's pretty broad. Yeah,
and I like their stuff. Okay, so Emperor's Children, you're going in with there. We're not going to put them in a position yet because we need to hear out the other ones.
I mean, what's not to like about brand new shiny models? They're easy to paint, easy to put together. They feel Emperor's Children on the battlefield.
Yeah,
and you don't have to shower for about a month before you go to a tournament and play with them. That's proper. Lean into it.
Yeah, lean into it, and don't commit crimes that Emperor's Children would commit.
No.
That's naughty and you get in trouble. But at the same time, eat as much as you want. Do the excess part of it. You can eat all the food you want, spend all your money, go gambling, really live that Emperor's Children lifestyle. Listen to loud music, that part of it's great.
There's a great moral choice. There's a great morality story behind them for children, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're good. If you have young children, raise them up the correct way.
Yeah.
Teach them all about Slanesh and Emperor's Children.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So my first offering is in a similar vein to Emperor's Children. They're in a similar situation. Another fairly new faction, that's World Eaters. I'll tell you why. So World Eaters, in terms of their success in the lore, World Eaters are in a bit of a weird place. They're not like the best Space Marines. They don't have the most achievements on their belt. Their Primarch is a bit of a loser. He's kind of cool if you're into like really angry big dudes, and I could get into that. I'm working my way through the Siege of Terror. I've got some of the anger on bits. He's like marching around, smashing into things, and flying off and acting a bit beast-like.
Right. Do you like angry big dudes?
I love angry big dudes, especially when they go bright red.
Yeah.
His model isn't as good as Mortarian's, but
It's better.
there we go. But I think the World Eaters in general, right? 40k, 41st millennium. You're in a universe that's permanently at war, right? There's only war. You have an army of people that are literally hardwired. Were hardwired just to wage war, to commit war, right? And that is now enhanced with a demon by a demon god who is the god of violence, blood, skulls, war. I like to still think that the old school Khorne, who was like martial prowess and balance, justice, all that kind of stuff.
There's
He is
both
that, yeah.
sides to every Chaos God.
Yeah.
There's got to be something appealing to the Chaos Gods to draw the cultists and draw the people. There's goods and bads. The warp is a neutral place.
Yes.
I mean, Psychers use it, the Emperors use it, Navigators go there. But it's full of bad things in it because all the nice God of Bunny Rabbits get eaten by the bad demon monsters. So that's why there is God of Bunny Rabbits, but they only live for about half a second in the warp. It's yeah. So World Eaters, you like angry red men?
Yeah, no, I just think they're in a war setting where you're constantly at war. I think they are a perfectly adapted group of individuals, psychotic. Bloodlust. They don't have to have anything get in the way of waging war. You're
describing Tyranids now, though.
Yeah.
Adapted.
Yeah, Tyranids are like that as well. Okay, and they're probably better adapted for it.
Tyranids.
But if you look at the Chaos lineup, out of all of the Chaos legions, all the legions that turned to Chaos, World Eaters were most ready to wage kind of a pointless, endless war. Right, without having to worry about feelings, because the nails were already messing a load of them up anyway. They were already on the way out. Why not become, possessed with demon rage at the same time? And I think the other thing about it, I think it's Warsmith Kroger, one of the Iron Warriors Warsmiths in the first war. It might even be Khan. Someone turns around. No, it's not Khan. Someone turns around to him and says, "Oh, do you want to get real strong?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I don't really want to worship all these gods and stuff. Yeah, that doesn't sound cool." And he's like, "You don't have to." He's like, "What? You just got to kill people in his name. That's what you got to do." And he's like, "That sounds wicked. Yeah, I'm well up for that." So for in the 40k setting, he's a simple god to honour. You know what I mean? You don't have to go and read a book before bed or anything.
No.
You just have to chop people's heads off and flay the skin off their skulls and offer skulls and blood for the blood god. And if you fail, you're also honouring him as well by bleeding your blood. So I just think they're a good fit for the setting. They've got a good, honest, straightforward god that they follow. Khorne doesn't mess about. You kill stuff, that's it, which tends to help in war.
Yeah.
And going all the way back as well, what I think is special about Khorne is if you go the way back to like fantasy, Warhammer fantasy battles and things like that, the Khorne talisman is what fighters would wear to war, like a little wooden carving. And they might not even know of Khorne.
Why are we doing fantasy, though?
Because I'm just saying that...
What?
Because by doing the thing that the setting is about, fighting, that's working towards this faction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you wore a Nurgle symbol to war...
Yeah, it's in the catchphrase. They have a catchphrase, like Bruce Forsyth and all the best ones, Wheel of Fortune, Bully, Bullseye... It was
Bruce that said kill
phrase.
Main burn, wasn't it, Brucey? That was his thing,
Supermarket sweep. All the good one, they, catchphrases. And they got blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. I can't think of what the other catchphrases are for the other ones. But the fact that World Eaters have got their own T-shirts and mugs and merch out there It's a thing. Here's the other thing about Khorne. It's that normies know World Eaters and Khorne.
Yeah.
They're like the poster child of they're the Ultramarines of the Chaos Space Marines. So does that actually disclude them from the conversation about coolest Chaos Space Marine chapters ever? Because they're basically cheese on crackers. They're like, everyone knows them. They're a bit grr. They're one thing, one trick pony. Thing. Slaughter the pony on the way through, cut its head off, put the head in your bed. You wake up, horse's head.
I think in a war game, that's what you want, though.
What?
I think that's a good representation of. I think it's great that if you want to play 40k and you want to play, you're there and you're like, oh, I don't really understand all that's going on, but what I do want to do is just run around with a big chainsaw and chop people up. I'm like, World Eaters, there you go.
You just go forward.
Yeah, you go forward as quick as you can. You hit people as much as you can. Boom, done. Welcome to the 41st millennium. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war, and we are there to do it.
You know, it's interesting because I play Heresy in 40k, and World Eaters are the only faction that play exactly the same in Heresy and 40k.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's get there as quick as you can, tear the face off, and collect up all the skulls.
Which is a good thing, you know. It shows.
Is it?
They had their battle plan locked in, and they didn't need anything else. It doesn't matter that in the lore they were kind of not pulling their weight properly and doing things properly. And some great characters got destroyed by horrible technology, by the nails. I hate the nails. I don't like the idea of my lovely Khan, who's a great guy, just slowly becoming demented because his head was getting... basically had a migraine all the time.
Because that's another reason why you can exclude World Eaters, because worst Primarch ever.
They broke themselves, yeah.
Because of him. I mean, all the Primarchs rose up to be lords of their worlds, except for the ones that didn't want to, like Ferrus Manus chose not global domination because he thought that it would be better if they continued fighting each other, all the city-states, because through competition breeds excellence. But that's a decision that he made. But even Kurz ended up mastering his planet. Angron in chains, in the fighting pits, didn't get very far.
Yeah, I know.
He's one of the Primarchs that failed.
Yes, and I do accept that could be an issue when trying to proclaim that they are in the top Heretic Astartes legions. That they were utter failure. But I still think they do what they're supposed to do. I don't really know how they work in the 41st millennium. Like, they
work the same as they've always worked, Warsmith Chris.
Behind the scenes. I mean, who is left who is like guiding them properly in the right direction?
Well, you've got World Eaters, but you've also got Berserkers who are part of the Black Legion. What are they called? The Hounds of Abaddon, for example. Hounds of Abaddon are World Eaters who wear the black. You've got different types of World Eaters out there, and they're doing what they've always done, which is run forward and kill everything and collect the skulls afterwards. It's basically they've got a hobby, and it's skulls, and they like them. I have to say, though, they are probably the most iconic Chaos Space Marine. They're fun to play with. They're fun to play against. No one has a problem when you put World Eaters down on the table in whatever
they know what they're dealing with. Yeah, you know
when you're playing with them, when you're playing against them. They are fun. But
I like the fact that
if you want to collect a Chaos Space Marine Legion and you start with World Eaters, you're gonna want another one in 6 months' time because it gets a bit samey.
It's one-dimensional. When you put them on the table, though, there is a you don't even need to say it. There's a pact between you and your opponent. Your opponent knows they will lose if you get to them, and you know you will lose if you can't get to them, and that's it. Like, that's how the game's going to go. And it's probably fun a few times, but then if you're playing the same person, it's like, oh god, they're just going to run at me again, and I have to try and shoot them all before they get here, or just run away or whatever. Yeah, okay, right. You've convinced you've soured my excitement for them, right?
No, I'm saying they're one of the greatest.
They're great.
Chaos Space Marine Legions. For about they're like, you know, that one of the girlfriends that you dumped all those years. You know, she was good for a bit, but then you figured out that there's not much going on behind there. She doesn't like your music. She thinks Midsommar is a good movie. She's not interested in miniatures. Really, you're not getting along. All she's interested in is blood. You know, and yeah, she's like, you know, a girlfriend that you have for 2 weeks. It's basically.
I don't know what you're on about. I've never had
What?
a girlfriend before. What?
What?
What do you mean, girlfriend?
But you knew of. There are women. You have a wife.
Do I?
And you
Oh
had
yeah, I do. No.
before
No, I know
the
what you're talking about.
wife,
Yeah.
There must have been another one.
No, there were. Yeah, I can
Or was
think
it
of.
straight out of the
No, I didn't.
monastery?
I didn't go
You
straight
took
from
off
the
your
monastery.
robes, straight off from the monk life.
I shall take the first woman who looks my way as my bride.
Take the vow. Arranged marriage.
Yeah, no.
Okay, right.
I do know.
It's
No,
a
I
bit
know what you
like-
mean. I know what you mean. There are
It's a
people
bit
that
like Space Marine 2, the video game. It's really good fun, and you smash the shite out of that game for quite a long time until you realise that this is it. This is it. Why hasn't Horde mode? Why haven't they released Horde
Where's
mode
Horde
yet?
mode, man?
I want Horde mode.
I want to
Where's
play Horde
coming
mode
on?
with you. I want to play Horde mode with you. I want to shoot the endless swarms.
I want to play Horde mode.
Where's Horde mode, man?
Where is Horde mode?
Horde mode! Where are you? Where is Horde mode?
It's like a worldy. It's like lined up for the world eater stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad that you changed it to Space Marine 2 before we talked about smashing the shit out of something, and
Right.
then yeah, that was a good one. But I do know what you're talking about. Yes. And yeah, I am married. I was pretending, and I shouldn't have done that. There's nothing to say that people who play Warhammer or like Warhammer or nerds can't find love. That was foolish of me to say that. So I apologise. But have a bath.
Whereas everything else he said before this moment was not foolish.
No,
It must be taken
never
with
say
utter
something
seriousness.
foolish. Yes, absolutely. I still
Just
think
that one thing.
Yeah, that
all
one
the other
thing.
STCs that you may have watched.
that was all.
That one thing, just in case she watches this. Brilliant.
Yeah, okay, so that's me, World Eaters. You've
Yes.
done Emperor's Children, I've done
Yes.
World Eaters.
Yes.
What you got for me?
Death Guard. We might be going through a theme like the Chaos Space Marine armies I collect here, but
Yeah. And the ones with codexes as well. Weird.
Death Guard are one of the greatest Chaos Space Marine factions of all time ever. There, I've said it. And the main reason why, I can give you 28 reasons why, okay?
I'm ready. 28. I'm counting.
28 weeks later, we could still be here. Wycliffe John, we could go till November. Listen,
Yep.
The main reason why is because if you were a Chaos Space Marine Warsmith Chris,
Yep.
life would kind of suck.
Yeah.
It's not a happy life
No.
unless you worship your soul, your everything to Papa Nurgle. You have a great time. They're loving it.
They are loving it.
They're the happiest of the Chaos Space Marines.
They are. Externally, I think people will be horrified.
Who cares about
Just-
external stuff? Look, do you want in the 41st millennium?
Yeah.
Okay, we've had this conversation before. It's like it's supposed to suck.
It
There are
does suck,
very,
yeah.
very few places that you could be or live, and it wouldn't suck. But one of them would actually be a Chaos Space Marine of the Death.
Of the Death Guard, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. We've talked before on the show about Lords of Silence, which
Yeah,
is
great.
probably our main look into what 40k Death Guard are like. It doesn't seem so bad compared to like the Night Lords. They're like struggling for everything and having a bad time trying to get what they can, scrape a living. Other people doing the same.
It's
Death-
not as bad as
they've got
compared
like
to an Imperial Fist or something. A good guy.
Yeah.
They're right. They're loving
Death
it.
Guard, you got like a stinky palace. You
Yeah.
don't mind. You've got these cute little pets everywhere,
Yeah.
that, like fart on you and stuff. You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on the fact that life is good when you're a disgusting creature and you don't see
Yep.
yourself as disgusting.
Yep.
That's good.
And if I was in the other room right now, right, and suddenly your door flew open, and it was me, and I dropped a deuce like, and slapped. See, you're laughing already.
Yeah,
See,
it's
it's
funny.
funny.
Farting is
Yeah,
funny.
it's
Farts
funny.
are well funny.
Yeah,
Poo
Poo.
can be funny.
poo can be funny.
Poo and wee is funny.
When it happens to other people, it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think the funniest thing that you can see is someone like thinking it's funny to fart on you and you physically see them follow through. Like you see it hit the back of the
Right.
trousers. That's funny.
That's funny.
Because you know they've shat themselves, and there's
Yeah.
no coming back from that. But if you were part of
No.
the Death Guard, you wouldn't find that funny because it's normal.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh,
When have you not
Billy
shat
shit
yourself?
himself again for the 46th time this meeting.
Yeah.
It's okay. I don't mind. You know?
Hey, look at Timmy over there. He's not shit himself.
Yeah.
He must be a traitor. He must be a
There's
loyalist
something wrong
killer.
with Yeah. I don't like the idea that your guts are like falling out of your body and you have to push
Why
them
not?
back in.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. It just
It doesn't
feels-
hurt. If you give in to
doesn't hurt.
Nurgle, it's fine. You don't
Well,
feel
that's
the
the
pain.
thing, isn't it? That's the main thing, is that pain, there's a lot of painful ways to die
Yeah.
in 40k. Like, think if you're fighting Dark Eldar, for example, and they fire one of their splinter pistols at you that activates every nerve bundle in your body
Yeah.
at maximum pain, like throughout all of you. If you're a Death Guard, you don't have to worry about any of that.
No.
You just don't worry. What about their... aside from being a Death Guard being all right,
Yeah.
what do they bring to the table, though? What is their...
Well, they bring the most complete Chaos God-specific faction codex
Yeah, they
with
do
more
that.
choices than any other thingy bob.
Yeah.
You can go Horde mode and bring lots of Poxwalkers and Plague Marines and da-da-da. You can go Elite mode and bring lots of Terminators, because they've got two types of Terminators.
They do, it's
unlike,
greedy.
for example, all the other ones.
Yeah.
And they're specific, like the Emperor's Children, for example. They just got their normal Chaos Space Marine
Yeah.
sculpts, but they have got their Death Shroud Terminators and they've got their Blightlord Terminators.
Yeah.
So you can go Elite mode with some stuff and things. You can also, they're deceptively quick as well if you want
Yeah.
to bring drones and the Mephitic Blight
Mephitic-
Haulers.
yeah, they're good.
They've got teleport options as well, so they can be deceptively fast. And of course, they're resilient as all hell. They're a good army for noobs,
Yes.
which is why they were on the 8th edition box set, because they're quite forgiving to play with. The rules aren't too complicated. They can take it because they tend to be tougher than stuff. Than most in the toughness league, they're at the topper end. Topper end, that's a word now. Yeah. So what's not to love? It's accessible. It's big. It's broad. They're stinky. And if your guts are falling out, let them fall out. You'll grow a second mouth there.
Yeah, you'll get a gift.
Yeah.
Something nice will happen. It surely would be a fun life, being a Death
Yeah.
Guard. And I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Read Lords of Silence if you want to know more about them. It will change how you see Death Guard completely. They're good dudes to each other. They're still Astartes at the
Here's
end of the
another
day.
reason.
They're not zombies.
You know, you're like, what are World Eaters doing now? Are they still a legion? What are they?
Yeah.
The Death Guard are one of the only legions who still operate at legion strength. They still follow Mortarion. Yeah, there's a few war bands jumping around here, there, and everywhere. And Typhus has always been a problem, but they're still pretty much a unified legion. And there's no other Chaos Space Marine faction like them.
No.
They're not at all like Thousand Suns or World Eaters or the Shrouded or whatever, the Doom Eagles, whatever you want to pick.
Yeah.
They are, you know what they are and you know what they look like. They have their own identity, their own feel. They are, they're there. They're everything you could want. They feel like a unique, separate, different faction. Unlike World Eaters, for example, which basically, when you they're like angry Blood Angels.
Okay, yeah.
Blood Angels and World Eaters.
Yeah, they got a similar
playstyle.
vibe. Yeah, they
Death
go
Guard,
mad, they go crazy.
unique.
Yeah. No, I for one, I really like them. I like the lore. I like the look of them. They got a great model range. They did a really good job with that refresh.
They did.
Fantastic models came out. I'm very proud of my Death Guard. I like them. I don't play them that much because I do find that people tend to groan a bit when you offer to play Death Guard. I don't know whether it's just a small group of people that I play with, but I think people tend to be a bit, oh, not again. You know, they've been in strong positions and weak positions, but generally their gameplay involves doing something horrible to your opponent, and I think people don't like that much when they lose weapon skill, when they lose ballistic skill, when they lose toughness and stuff. I don't know. I do love my Death Guard. We did a big thing with them a while ago. Your Death Guard and my Death Guard teamed up, and we beat a bunch of little Imperial
Bad
guardsmen.
guys, corpse emperor worshippers.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
them good in
Yeah.
say Hypel's shed. I think
We
it was.
did. It was a hot day. We were very Death Guardy by the end of it.
We were very Death Guardy.
We were stinky.
Yeah, but it was all part of the role play. It was part of the vibes,
Yeah.
you know. So,
Yeah.
but I want to. Maybe I'll bring my Death Guard at some point and get them out again. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
I don't know who is the new guy. Sorry, no, I don't want to get distracted. We got to finish this.
You got to get. I mean, say Iron Warriors. Come on.
Iron
Warsmith
Warriors.
Chris. Iron Warriors. It's going to be one of your picks, right?
Iron Warriors. I'll get to the point.
This is
right?
going to be a tough sell. I know you're Warsmith Chris.
No!
And I know you like them.
It's not a tough sell.
But let's face it, they're a bit shit.
They are not right. Iron Warriors, not
Apart
shit.
from the hazard stripes, I mean, and what is that all about anyway?
Okay.
Health and
So-
safety doesn't really feature in the 41st millennium or the 31st millennium. No one was going around checking, have you got your right hazard shapes on there for to make sure that door is... I mean, come on, sell me on the Iron Warriors. This is
Right.
Strap yourselves in for this one, lads. This is going to be a long one.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet.
Really?
Iron Warriors.
Yeah.
First of all, cool name. They got a cool little icon, you know.
Their
Iron
name
Warriors.
is cool.
Yeah, they're the Iron Warriors, right? Listen, when it comes down to
They have a cool name.
Iron Warriors,
Accrington Stanley. That's a cool name. Accrington Stanley.
Accrington Stanley. Yeah. Iron Warriors are a hard sell, and I
Right.
agree with you. They're a hard sell, right?
Yes.
That Perturabo is not always painted in the best light, depending on which
No.
author is writing him. Okay.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, he's a man. Blah, blah, blah. I don't particularly like him. It's not like I would be mates with him, but at the same time, he was a great Primarch when it came down to designs and things like that. And he did get duped. He did get led astray, get led down the wrong path. He did get taken advantage of, I think, a little bit. And I do think he has regrets. Now, the thing about Iron Warriors is they are not the same as your Chaos. They're not your average Chaos Legion. They don't embrace Chaos in the same way as the other legions do. They definitely have Demon Princes. They have some Chaos followers and stuff, but all in all, they are the same legion they always were, but they have more tools at their disposal without having to become subservient to those gods, those Chaos gods. So they are still Iron Warriors. They're still arseholes. They're still kind of heartless, and they're very good at siege warfare. They didn't forget themselves. They have a few mutations that they have to cut off and sort out. And they aren't... People think, add a bit of a one-dimensional thing to them. People say, oh, they don't mess with Chaos. You know, you can't have Chaos stuff. That's not true. Iron Warriors very much do still choose to worship Chaos, follow Chaos.
Some of them do, some of them
many
don't.
examples of Iron Warriors who did fully embrace Chaos and did become Demon Princes and did fall to certain gods and worship certain gods. But we've got a bunch who didn't as well. But they were all lumped together and they all had to go off together, a bit like the Night Lords. Some of the other legions are like this as well. They were all implicated in what happened and they all had to live with the consequences. So I think Iron Warriors now, they live on a horrible place in the warp, and they still go. There's a fantastic little mini-sode on the Warhammer TV called Iron Within, where have you seen this?
No.
Heard about it? So there's a planet.
No one's heard about it. You're the only person to have
No,
watched it.
everyone's watched it because it's really good. It's about a guard planet.
It's the first time I'm hearing this ever.
The guard planet that's under assault from dark elves, right?
Okay.
And they invoke an old right that they could call upon the Astartes because they were a tithe world, and they have given their sons to the Astartes.
Right.
But it's been a long time. They call upon it in the hopes that someone comes, and it turns out they are an old Iron Warriors tithe world. The Iron Warriors turn up, they
Yep.
kick the shit out of all the Dark Eldar, smash the shit out of all of them,
Yep.
and then they kind of just start kicking the shit out of all the people as well.
Nice.
And then they go into a room and they say, kneel before me, and I'll let you live. And the ones that don't kneel before them are actually the ones that get to live and rule the planet with the Iron Warriors. They take the planet back. And the ones that do kneel, they call them weak and they smash them to bits with a hammer.
And that's good, is it?
That's straightforward.
Good.
All right. It's a hard sell. The Hazard Stripes are a hard sell. I don't know.
Well,
the
I
idea
quite
is
like the hazard stripes, to be
It
honest.
is cool.
I mean, it looks cool. But
It was-
what about the cowardice part of things? I mean, the last thing you want from your Chaos Space Marines is the running away bit, which the Iron Warriors are rather famous for.
no.
Yes,
the
they are.
Iron
Bit the
Warriors.
field.
It's the same way as
They'll
White
run away.
Scars. Same thing as White Scars. White Scars run because they want to come back and fight on their
Iron
terms.
Scars technically aren't running, though. It's all traps and things, and it's all
Yeah.
part of the
Sure.
flow, like
That's
the
what-
hit and run and the
Yeah,
pull.
yeah, yeah.
But the Iron Warriors,
No, same
I
with
mean,
Iron
you
Warriors,
can't
mate.
exactly call it hit and running when you've been besieging a fortress for 2 months and then bugger off and not come back.
No, it's all part of the plan, mate.
Is
Just
it?
Trust me. Yeah, it's all part of the plan. Iron Warriors, top tier. Yes, please. Let's go. What?
Including the cowardice part.
Which is tactics. It's a tactical. It's
Right.
tactical maneuvering, retreat, tactical retreat. No, they just get no. Listen, it's propaganda. They get a bad rap. The writers don't know what they're doing with Iron Warriors. They write them wrong, objectively.
Well,
They're
no,
much-
because the best Iron Warriors character ever written is Barbarous Antioch.
Yes.
He's an awesome
He's awesome.
Iron Warriors
Yeah.
character. He's Iron
We love
Within,
him.
one of the greatest short stories that they ever did. And he hates the Iron Warriors too.
Yes, I know he does.
And he's the greatest Iron Warrior character ever written. So
Yes, it makes it difficult to argue my point when Dantioch hates the Iron Warriors too.
Yeah.
All right, and I love Dantioch. He's
Yeah.
great, but he's old. He got oldified by the FRUD, so I can't. Sorry, mate, I can't. I've got to back the normal Iron Warriors because you're too old. Listen, let me out of this. I
what have
can't
they
fight
got?
my position when
What
you
have they
keep
got
coming at me
going
with
for 'em?
facts.
I mean, they're part of just the Chaos Space Marine book,
They
which is
look cool.
fine.
Yeah,
You can
they-
be part of the Chaos Space Marine book. That's not necessarily a bad
Yeah.
thing, but it's not a bonus.
Attrition.
They look good.
No.
I mean,
I'll
it's
tell you what it
good-
is.
They're easy to paint.
No, stop.
What else?
The theme of them.
You can spray
And-
them lead belcher, add no
Stop
more,
it!
hazard stripes done. I
The
mean,
theme Hazard Stripes are hard to paint. The theme of
Are
them,
they?
the theme of the Siege Breaker, whatever they're
Right.
called, it works really well. The idea that they are like the old World War One attrition army that you just send bodies in, brutal attrition, fantastic stratagem for them. You get to do all your fights and stuff, but then for every unit that was in combat with them, you just take a bunch of mortal wounds at the end, just because everyone's just beating each other down, long drawn out fights, well defensive. They are a very chaosy faction in the fact that they're just kind of like they're thrown into the meat grinder.
But you said they're not very chaosy because most of them don't have demons up them.
I didn't mean it like that. I meant
Right.
that they are. It's a grim faction because
Yes.
they're like Krieg, but in power armor. They're just
like
kind of
Krieg.
pushed through this meat grinder, and they have a lot of losses to make up for. And they were always used.
So they're good because of this human faction that's better than them.
No, they're good because in the grim darkness of the far future,
Right, yes.
there is only war.
Yes.
Time to move on. Time to move on.
Right, so,
So we both agreed Iron Warriors are great. Time to move on.
I mean,
It's time.
Look, you're allowed to like what you like, okay? You're allowed to like what you like. And
That's
if
not
you
my
like-
top pick. It's not my top pick. It's not my
it's
top
not,
pick.
Not your top one, even though you are Warsmith Chris.
I'm Warsmith Chris, but it's
And-
not my top pick.
Yeah.
And I have a very good reason why my top
Right.
pick is not my primary army as well.
Okay. Well,
So-
I'm going to go with my top pick. You know when I said I don't do top picks?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with my top pick now, the third one.
Okay.
And I want you to go with your top pick at the same time on 3. We'll go 1, 2, 3, then we'll say it, okay? Because I would be very curious to hear whether your top pick is the same as my top pick, because I suspect it is, because I think anyone who gets asked the question, what is the greatest Chaos Space Marine Legion of all time, will say this.
They already know it.
I am confident that people knew when they clicked on this video. It's like, when are they going to get round to this one? So on 3, are you ready?
No, I'm not ready. No, I'm really anxious.
You
Sorry.
ready? 1, 2, 3.
Dark Angels. Oh,
God damn it. Well, the Dark Angels with the Fallen is an interesting one,
we're
but
not
now
talking
they're
about
the
them.
Risen because, well, some of them are, because the Lions come along. But it's the Night Lords.
It's
dude.
the Night Lords. It's
the
absolutely
Night
the bloody
Lords.
Night Lords. I'm glad
In
we
the
can
grim
finally
darkness
agree
of
on
the
something.
In the grim darkness of the far future, it doesn't get grimmer or darker than skinning puppies. Come on
No,
now.
it doesn't.
And then putting it on TV for everyone to see. And, like, you've got to look after your puppies, otherwise this is what happens to them.
I'll tell you why Night Lords are the best. My favourite Legion, right?
Go on then.
Excluding 30k,
Yeah.
because 30k, the books have got great great books about all the legions,
Yeah.
good and bad. In 40k, their representation of 40k is the most fun, engaging, cool, but also horrible, dark, nasty, just what you'd want from a heretic Astartes
Yep.
warband. Now, the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
about them is they've got nowhere to go. Their planet is in bits,
Got no home,
floating
got no
through
Primarch,
their Primarch
no
let
allegiances.
himself die. They are afflicted with prescience, which drives them mad.
Some of them. But
Kills
yeah.
them. Some of them drives them mad. Half of them have turned completely to chaos.
Yeah.
Completely mutated by the warp. Their warp
Yeah.
talons are bestial, evil creatures of the warp. They
Yeah.
have their biggest warband is led by a demon prince.
Yeah.
But the guys who are still hanging on, the guys who are in this eternal conflict between what their values they stood for as loyalists and their hatred for the emperor, but their values they stood for as loyalists also make them hate chaos and hate
Yeah. They hate everyone.
hate Horus and what happened to them. And they're stuck with this thing with their dad was here and he was a problem, and they're the most three-dimensional, like they've got a real reason to be messed up dudes. You know what I mean? And
The lore, the background for the Night Lords is the richest, most complex,
delicious.
most grey areas out there. The Night Lords trilogy by Aaron Dembski-Bowden. The number of people I've spoken to who've got Night
Love it.
Lords Army because of that trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy should get mega bonuses for that
should.
trilogy on its
But-
own. But there's a but.
There is a but.
There's a but.
I think the Night Lord trilogy tells you not to get a Night Lord's army. I think the Night Lord trilogy tells you that the Night Lords that you desire are a kill team. They are a small group.
Hashtag only a kill team.
Only a kill team. They are a small group of brothers who have stuck together through all this stuff. You got to remember the Night Lords. Their original, you'd got through the part where Kurz is back and he starts recruiting Space Marines. He starts making Space Marines from their homeworld. All those dudes are pretty shitty dudes. There's only like gangsters and murderers and bad people at the very start. Kurz has to clear that up later on. But every single Space Marine that isn't from Terra is essentially has a horrible past. They were bad people. And they're then put in this new position of power. You've turned gangsters and criminals into superhumans. It puts them in a really weird situation to begin with, and that's why they are what they are. That's why in the 30k universe they are the horror, the terror troops. That's why they've got so much complexity behind them, because they were never used as a full. They're like the Alpha Legion in that sense. They aren't a let's deploy 1,000 bloody Land Raiders and all our troops in big
They
blocks and
have
walk
been
forward.
used as
They
Legion,
have.
though, to subdue. Back in the Heresy days, they
Yep.
were definitely a Legion-esque force, but they were always separate war bands and
Yeah.
separate
And that is
Houndmasters and
now
things like that. They were doing their
broken
own thing.
down so much.
Yeah.
They're so fractured that I don't think you'd see a Night Lord's army, a 2,000 point Night Lord's army on the table very often at all.
Well, here's the thing. So the greatest Space Marine, Chaos Space Marine Legion out there isn't a Legion; it's a warband.
Yes.
But
No, they were a
here's
Legion.
the
This
thing.
is why brackets.
It's
yeah.
very unusual for them to deploy at like 2,000 points worth of stuff.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a game where the Custodes deploy at 2,000 points worth of stuff.
Yeah.
And normally more than one of them is overkill.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might have 3 or 4 joining you can deploy them as an army, which
Yeah.
is unusual. And then if you were deploying the Imperial Guard as an army, you'd need to put them in your garden.
Yes. Okay,
because
yeah,
there's
things
that
aren't
many of them.
representative. I just
So-
feel like they work. You know what I think would be really
Is size really that important? Does it matter?
cool? Well, I think nowadays,
It matters more what you do with it, doesn't it?
if you had like a Black Legion army,
Yes.
because now you don't have to necessarily have the colours or whatever, you could have a unit of Chosen that were Night Lords that
Yeah.
were working alongside them that would like drop in, and obviously you don't
Yeah.
get to pick the 2 different detachments, but still I think they're a good terror unit that goes on the side. I did try and make an army out of them, and it's awkward because I didn't want to go into all the demon engines and stuff. I wanted the Night Lords from the Night Lords trilogy, and you can't have them as an army. If you want those Night Lords, it has to be very small scale. If you don't mind playing the Night Lords, the massive warbands that unite under a Demon Prince, you go for it. You go full Night Lords. You can have Possessed, you can have whatever you want in there. But if you want those little cliques of Night Lords that stick together and are under siege from the other ones,
Really, that isn't like. I mean, there's 40 of them, isn't there, or 70 of them? So yeah, you can't deploy them. But like Gaunt's Ghosts, there's like 10 models. You can't deploy Gaunt's Ghosts. And if you did, if you converted and made an entire Gaunt's Ghosts army and then they're all infantry.
yeah,
So you couldn't really play with them as well. You'd need to have Gaunt's Ghosts combined arms with Voister and Destroyers or something like that, some armor to back them up with.
imagine.
You need to do that if you want to try and bring some of the books, some of the materials from the lore to life on the tabletop, because we know that the lore and the tabletop
Yeah.
don't cross the streams.
It doesn't cross.
It doesn't cross the streams, and it's good. It's better that it doesn't.
What if there was a unit type which was Night Lord Terror Squad or something, and it was a type of unit you could take?
Well, all of those things are available, and that's heresy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So in 40k, Night Lords are rolled into the Chaos Space Marine book, and then they're saying, right, if you're doing Night Lords, then you can go the demon route and bring lots of demons in your thing, or you can go the Legion-esque route and say this actually happens to be a few hundred dudes who are actually still quite Compos Mentis, and you can go that route. That's what they want you to do on the tabletop, and both of those in the lore would be rare. But
Yes.
bringing them to life on the tabletop is fine in whatever shape you
Yes.
want to do it. It's awesome. If you really want to lean into the lore of the Night Lords on the tabletop properly, then you've got to play Heresy. And that's
Yes,
fine
definitely.
too, because Heresy does it really well.
Yeah. And you now get all the proper helmets. So when I was putting my Night Lords together, I had to get like 3D printed helmets and stuff, and now both Heresy and 40k have Night Lord specific helmets. And I am very grateful to Games Workshop for releasing Nemesis Claw for Kill Team. That was just a good move in general. I was completely blindsided by it as well. I just did not expect. I know that Night Lords were one of the only legions that had an old resin kit, a resin upgrade kit, but it still was
they're
popular. And they're damn good, yeah. And you wouldn't believe it for a bunch of like vampire Batman.
They're not vampires.
dudes,
I mean,
no.
it's nothing to do with vampirism at all.
They're nothing to do with it, but they're visuals.
Yeah, well, it's
A very
it's
gothic.
scary. Ooh,
Yeah,
there's a
But
bit
anyway.
in Pharos where they're taking over the Pharos. and destroying all the towns and stuff. And on the dreadnoughts and on their armor and all their stuff, they have these pick feeds. So they're tearing apart the town, killing stuff. And they're broadcasting these 3D hologram pick feeds while they're doing the murdering and the skinning of all of their greatest hits of murdering and skinning. While they're murdering and skinning around them. I just thought that's a great image.
They're great. Yeah. I like in the new squad you have it's obviously not going to be in 40k like this, but in Kill Team, the guy who's holding a banner with a top half of an Astartes on it, he's called a ventriloquist, and he's a psyker, and he basically is like puppeteering this your dead mate that they've just killed.
He's probably still alive.
They string him up, but he's doing their voice. Yeah, he's doing their voice.
Yeah,
like a little ventriloquist puppet because he's a ventriloquist. And I thought that's just horrendous and beautiful. They are a bit of a psychopathic legion. They have a great Primarch story. We've gushed about them before. You can go back and find all the times we've gushed about Night Lords. But really, when it comes down to the grim darkness of the far future, where there is only war, where there are legions of Astartes who have become turned traitor, who have fought against the Imperium, who fought against the Emperor, one legion amongst those, which is now fractured into warbands and doesn't fight at legion strength, except when they all went together to find the killer.
They get called together
the
from time
assassin.
to time, like Abaddon's called them together to fight together. So sometimes the separate warbands might come together.
They do. They have come together.
Yeah.
But once among them, the Night Lords, they must be the best, objectively, Heretic Astartes Legion.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Write it in your book. Write it in your Warhammer Facts book.
Yeah, the lore in 40k and in 30k is extensive and cool. The Primarch novel, Curse, is one of the best Primarch novels up there. It's up there with Alpharis and Baldur. It's a standout Primarch novel. The rules in Heresy are so unique and distinct. They're beautiful. Rules in 40k, not so much, but they're still Night Lords. And if you want to run Chaos Space Marines, then why not paint lots of lightning bolts on them?
Like they're hard to paint.
I was going to say it's really easy. Don't discourage people.
Oh, it's really easy.
Yeah.
Just look up the tutorial. Actually, there are some tutorials that make it a lot easier. I've tried it.
Duncan Rhodes one on lightning bolts is banging. Check that one out.
His is the one I use. You just use some darker colours and then build it up. It's great. And he makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
And I try and do the exact thing. I'm watching him.
Yeah.
He goes, just draw a line like this. And he does it, and it's a lightning bolt. When I do it, it's just nothing.
No. Lightning bolts, you see, when you're doing straight lines, you need to hold the miniature in the right direction. You're always drawing down.
Yeah.
So you draw a bit down, then you twist it, then you draw the bit down, then you twist it, and you draw a bit down. And you draw down in straight lines, up to down, when you're doing your lightning bolts, when you're doing any kind of straight lines, and then it won't be wonky and all over the place. So that's how you do your lightning bolts.
Top tips from the big man.
Also, they have different warbands. So if you don't want to do the whole lightning bolt thing, it's 40k. You can paint them what other colours you want to paint them. And this is my Night Lords warband of... You can paint them black. Like they've decided to go, instead of in midnight clad, they've gone in midnight clad with a full moon, which is overcast, and all the street lights in the city have been turned off. They're black. You can paint them how you want to paint them. Yeah, they are epic. I love the story behind them. I love seeing them on the tabletop, and I love playing against them. This is the other thing. When I was thinking about like adding to my Heresy collection, because I did Isfan this and that, talking ages about White Scars are doing this and I've got to do Night Lords.
You've got to do Night Lords.
Emperor's Children came along and threw the Night Lords out for 2025.
Yeah.
But I was putting off. This is how good Night Lords are. I've been putting off doing them because I wanted to get other stuff done, because I really want to do the Night Lords.
And you're going to have such a good binge session.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of books you go through the Heresy ones, and then you go through the 40k ones after that.
I'm doing the 40k ones right now. ADBs on Audible while I'm painting the Emperor's Children.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again.
Again, yeah, I want to do them again and again. They never get old, and the Kurz, throw the Kurz one in there as well. And there's also a audio drama, which is a bridge between the first and second book, I think, which you need to get if you haven't, because it's really good. It's about it's actually a fantastic audio drama about when they finally hear where the location of the assassin is.
So there is, okay, you need to message me, like, WhatsApp me that when we're done, because I'm unaware of that one, and I want to listen to it.
It's so good, and the voice work in it is fantastic. Pretty brutal as well, because as you can imagine, they're not very happy when they get their hands on this woman. So yeah. Anyway, that's it. We've reached the conclusion. We found out which the best Heretic Astartes thing is. Sorry we were away for so long. Hopefully this bumper edition will be a small repayment. I should be back. That said, I never know what's happening in my crazy life, but we'll always turn up at some point, so keep an eye out. And yeah, thank you for watching. And if you disagree with us, again, it doesn't matter because you're wrong, but feel free to try and come up with some reason why your choice is better. That's what you're into.
Is this the first time we've actually nailed a top 5 without arguing about which one we're dropping out?
No, because we haven't actually nailed a top 5. We just didn't. Oh no, we've done a top 5 because we both picked the same top one.
No, because can we make it a top 4? Because Iron Warrior shouldn't be in there.
Right, you know what? I'm ending this podcast. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
How did Iron Warrior sneak
Just
in?
Stop listening. I can't put my hand over his face or anything. So, thank you for listening. You've all been very kind. Love you. See you on the next one.
Clearly.
Bye. The Iron Warriors are really good. Bye.
They're like...